Hi, my name's Nicole, and thank you so much for joining me today for another yoga flow. Today's yoga flow, we are going to be focusing on a morning flow. So we're going to pay attention to the entire body, give it some love, and really release, open up, stretch the body after a night's rest to prepare us for the day forward. This will be about 15 minutes in length. So that is the purpose of today's flow. If you are looking for a more philosophical intention, so maybe something to give to your mental, physical, spiritual bodies, your intellectual bodies, we're really going to be focusing on taking time for ourselves and setting ourselves up for what may come for the day or the week or the year, by doing what we can control. So we can't control everything around us, but we can control what happens within us and what we do and how we react. So that is the message for today, or the theme for today's class, is taking a moment for ourselves to find our center in a world where we can only do that, really, because Lord knows we can't control what happens out there. So we're going to get started in a wild child's pose. If you have some blocks, I do recommend having them out and ready. So starting in a wild child's pose, we're going to bring our knees to the width of the mat, big toes touch. If you'd like, you can slide a block directly under where the pelvis is going to go as you shoot the hips back. You can rest it there if that feels good. Otherwise, you can just sink that pelvis down back towards the feet, walk the hands forward, and then lower the head down to rest. If you want something a little bit more comfortable on the shoulders, stack one arm on top of the other, and you can rest the head there or on a block, whichever works best for you. And we're just going to think on our intention as we begin to breathe, set our breathing for the rest of the class. We're going to be breathing through the nose for class. So taking some inhalations in through the nose and out. Just noticing how your body feels to be in this current posture, maybe checking in with how you feel this morning. And then one more breath. Very good. Inhale, lift up through the fingertips, walk them in slightly, and then raise through the hips. Bring the feet directly behind you with our hips stacked directly over our knees, coming into a tabletop position. We're going to take a variation of our cat-cow by stepping the left foot out to the left side of the mat with the toes facing forward. Once here, we're going to start our cat-cow. So we're going to drop the belly, lift the gaze, big breath in. Exhale to round and contract, really anchoring that left foot through all four corners onto the floor. Good. 2 more as you breathe here. Trying to fill your diaphragm and release the diaphragm. Just felt in the gut, breathing almost expanding like a balloon when we inhale, and exhaling to release as we tuck the chin to the chest. Good. On the next exhale, you can bring that leg right back in and switch sides, stepping the right foot out, scooting as you need to. And when we're ready, taking that cat-cow. So again, dropping the belly, lifting the gaze. Exhale to round, contract, and tuck. Good. Again, keeping that left knee under that hip, nice and stacked and in alignment. Very good. And just 2. Focusing on how the body feels in these postures, noticing if there's anything tight within the body as you move, making an active effort or a little movement, a little shift to release. Good. Exhale, come back to center. Tuck the toes. Bring the hands out slightly in front of the head. Lift the hips up and back as if someone's pulling you up by a string as you arch your chest down and towards your toes, glancing there with your eyes. Now, first thing in the morning, you'll notice, first of all, that your legs may feel pretty tight, so the heels may not reach the mat. That's totally okay. We're going to stretch them out a little bit. So just gently walking the dog, breathing as you lift and lower each ankle, alternating here. Good, just one more round. Even it out. And come back to a neutral stance. Good. If this posture is a bit much on the hands, you can always come down onto the forearms, or you can bring blocks under the hands, by the way. Keeping the left foot on the mat, right foot is going to kick back directly behind us, and then the right foot is going to come towards the sit bone as we stack the hip, one on top of the other. One big breath here. Good. Inhale to guide that knee forward and step it through the hands, coming into our runner's lunge. If this is a little bit challenging, you can place some blocks under the hands to give you a little bit more height, by the way. Exhale to lower that left knee to the floor, untuck those toes. You can come up onto your fingertips if you want a little bit more length here, but we're coming into a crescent low lunge. So the hips are squared toward the top of the mat. Left foot is planted, the top of the foot is planted onto the mat, and we're gazing forward here. So just exploring how this pose feels, melting into the hips. Option to stay here, or you can keep left hand on the mat. Right hand can come up and over as you kick your right foot up into grab. If you have a strap, it's a wonderful time to use it. A little quad stretch here. Looking over our right shoulder, keeping that front knee stacked over that ankle. Inhale to release, come back to center. This time we're going to just walk the right foot out slightly and bring the right hand to the inner side of it. So we're going to come into a little bit of a lizard pose. So tuck the back toe, lift the back leg. Now you can stay here, or option, come down onto your forearms, or you can come onto some blocks if this is a little bit too low for you. You're going to be holding here. You can even interlace the fingers if that feels better. Again, really making an active effort with this right knee to keep it over the ankle and in, not splaying out towards the right side of the mat. Just one more breath here. Pressing into that left ankle or that left heel. Good. Inhale to come up. Take that right hand and bring it to frame that right foot, and once again, just kind of heel toeing it back to the center. Left hand stays on the mat, right hand comes up to twist. If this is a little bit much on the shoulder and stacking the right shoulder on top of the left, you can bring behind your back or to your hip. Trying again to keep that right knee in line with the ankle. Exhale, bring that hand down, step it back to plank, and then inhale, come up to our downward facing dog. Very good. We're going to go ahead and take it on the other side. If you'd like to take a child's pose, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, we're going to keep our right foot planted on the mat, left foot kicks up and behind. Get ready to stack. Left hip on top of the right as you bring that left foot back to the sit bone. Breathe here, exploring how it feels to be on the side. Good. Inhale, guide that left foot forward. Step it between the hands. Exhale to lower that back knee. Untuck the back foot. Looking up and forward. Whatever you did on the opposite side, by the way, make sure we're doing that on this side. So if you utilized blocks in this posture on the opposite side, use them in this side. We're going to balance out the body here. Just a couple breaths. Again, keeping attention to that knee over the ankle stack. Keeping attention on the hips, making sure they're squared to the top of the mat. Right hand can stay on the mat. Left hand reaches up and over as you kick. Right foot up to meet it. Little quad stretch here. Good, release. Coming back, this time we're going to come back into lizard. So you're going to meet your left hand on the inside of your left foot with your right hand. Tuck your back foot, come up, and either stay up, come on into blocks, or come onto your forearms if you'd like, making an active effort to keep that knee stuck over that ankle, not pressing it out to the left side. Breathe here. Good. Inhale, come back up. If you were down, right hand is going to stay on the mat. Left hand's going to come up. You can heel toe that foot in just a little bit here. Coming into a twist if you can. However you twist on the other side, twist on this side as well. Good. On the next exhale, lower that down. Take that left foot on the next inhale, step it back, and then come up to your downward facing dog. You can take a flow if you'd like, or you can go ahead and meet me in our child's pose. Taking a rest. Now that we've done the hardest part of the flow, taking a moment to see how the body feels currently. Doing a quick body scan, noticing how we feel now versus how we started. Acknowledging ourselves for showing up for ourselves in a way that we can control daily by inviting in movement that makes us feel good. And just a couple more breaths here. Very good. Lift up through those fingertips. Walk the hands in to the groin. Let's take a little bit of a yogi squat. So stepping the right foot to the right edge of the mat, and then the left foot, and then lowering down the sit bone to come into a hover now. This is a little challenging for you. You can slide a block under, take a seat, and then bringing hands to prayer, using the elbows to press the knees out and open. You got some options there. You can also keep your hands on the ground. So whatever feels best for you. Invitation here to take in some organic movement. So an example of that is placing hands on the ground beyond the toes and then maybe swaying a little bit back to back. Inviting in a little bit of mobility, a little bit of movement in those hip joints. As always, you can always just take the standard pose, whatever feels good for you today. Just one more breath. Very good. You can bring your hands down to the mat, bring the toes forward, take a seat, and bring the legs out directly in front of you. Inhale, lift the hands all the way up overhead, and as you exhale, come to fold, hinging at the hips. Now, if you'd like, you can use a strap to help you get a little bit further or deeper into a stretch, or you can also bend at the knees and come into like a caterpillar here. Whichever variation of a fold forward feels better for you, please invite that in and hold for just a couple breaths. You may notice yourself sinking deeper into this fold as time passes. Explore those sensations. Good. Inhale to roll up nice and gentle, and come to lay down on our mats. We're going to extend the left knee down towards the bottom of the mat, and then we're going to, on the next exhale, bring the right knee into the chest and give it a little bit of a hold here. Gently pulling that knee into that chest as much as we can for one deep breath. Good, and then using the left hand to guide the right knee to the left side. If your back cracks or pops, as long as it's not painful, it's okay. Right hand comes out to the right side, either at a bend in the elbow or straight, and you look over your right shoulder if you are able, for just a couple breaths. Now, it may feel better to not twist as deeply in this pose, or to even invite a block under this knee, both of which are perfectly perfect. Perfectly perfect. Sure. Inhale or exhale, sorry. Bring that back to center. Final squeeze here. And then as you inhale, let's switch sides. Big, breath, long squeeze of this left knee into chest. Good, using the right hand, guiding it over to the right side. Left hand out to the left, looking over the left shoulder. Just a couple breaths here. Allowing the body to release, noticing the release as we hold. Very good. Exhale, come back to center. Final little squeeze. Release that leg back down to the bottom of the mat, and then invite both feet onto the mat, feet on the floor. And then using the hands, you can guide the knees to either direction. You can place some blocks under here. This is a bit intense for you. Coming into a reclined butterfly posture. Very good. Exhale, bring the legs back together. And on the inhale, send the legs down towards the bottom of the mat. Rest your hands on either side of the hips, palms facing upwards, open to receiving. If this is a little bit much on the low back and you want more support, you can invite one foot to the edge of the mat and then the other, and allow the knees to fall into each other. Now as we take the Savasana today, I want to invite you to gently blink the eyes closed, and inviting in a sense of calm as you allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Doing a quick body scan, starting from the top of the crown of the head, coming all the way down, making sure that we are not willingly holding on to any tension within the body, and if we are, making an active effort to release. And then also checking to see how we feel now versus how we felt at the beginning of our practice. Whether that is physically, mentally, intellectually, or spiritually. With eyes closed, as you come into this Shavasana, I will ask you to think on if there's anything else that you could do for yourself today to show up for yourself, and the things any of your bodies need. I'll invite you to ponder this for just a few moments, and then I will wake you when it's time to finish class. Gently begin to wiggle fingers and toes as you bring yourself back to consciousness gently. As you feel ready, maybe take a gentle smile through the mouth and gently blink the eyes open when you are ready to readjust to the lights. And as you're ready, take your time. You can meet me in any seated posture that is comfortable for you. Now, as we finish today's practice, we will inhale, lift hands all the way up overhead, imagining holding everything that we created for ourselves or realized for ourselves in our hands as they touch. And as we exhale, hands all the way down to our heart center. We know it will never leave as we bow forward. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today for another class. It was my pleasure to guide, and I can't wait to see you next time. Bye.